have a similar topic, which is kind of unfortunate, but hopefully it'll still be interesting. And so I wanted to say that I want everyone to get out your cell phones, and if you have a social media app, I just want you to please delete it. Okay, I'm just kidding. That's not the point of my speech, but hopefully by the time I'm done, you'll want to use your social media differently. So, according to David King from the Library of Technology reports in 2015, 67% of Americans 12 and up use their social media, and so I'm sure that's not surprising that like a lot of people use social media. So Naomi talked about how it causes narcissism, and I'm going to talk kind of in a more broad way about where these problems like narcissism come from in the first place. And I've been using social media for a lot of years, and have always been interested in the way that it affects me and the way that it affects people around me. And I've also done a significant amount of research for you guys today. So hopefully by learning about the negative effects of social media, you'll change the way in which you use it. And first I'm going to talk about the problems related to social media, and then I'm going to talk about the cause, and then I'm going to talk about some solutions. So let's start with the problem. So the umbrella problem with social media is that it can cause addiction. And according to Degree.com, in an article published in 2014, 63% of Americans check their social media once a day, and 40% check multiple times a day. And this has become such a problem with Facebook in particular that researchers even have developed what's called the Facebook addiction scale to kind of monitor how bad people's addiction is. And most people check, their social media for a lot of different reasons, but underlying most of these reasons is that they want some relief from boredom, or that they want some sort of distraction for their lives. And so that's unfortunate, because that's just like most other common addictions like smoking or alcoholism. People want to be distracted or they're bored. And so other problems caused by this addiction is that people that use Facebook avidly are researched to be less happy than people that use it less often. And 2/3 of people that use social media have a difficult time resting if they can't check their social media. And then another sub-problem of the addiction is that people, they're logging on every day or multiple times a day, and they're seeing these idealistic versions of other people's lives that they put on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And so they're seeing these idealized versions of life, and they're comparing themselves, and this makes them feel like, oh, I'm not smart enough, or I'm not talented enough in one way or another. And so then that makes them feel worse about themselves, which is really unfortunate. So I talked about some problems, and we're going to move on to some causes. Okay, so according to David King, who I cited earlier, internet has grown from being just like a few scholars and researchers to being most of the U.S. who use it. And along with that is the growth of social media, which started about 19 years ago. And so they've kind of both grown together and become something that people widely use. And with the internet being introduced onto cell phones, that's also greatly increased the amount of social media use, because you can use it like anywhere, and hopefully not right now. But so according to Kimberly Morrison in an article published in 2014 in adweek.com, Facebook alone has grown from having 1 million users in 2004 to having 1 billion today. Okay, so another just really important thing to keep in mind is that the people that own these social media companies want you to keep coming back and using their sites. Like, it's not a coincidence that they that you keep wanting to use them. That's how they make profit, and so these programs are designed to keep you coming back. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the solutions, which I love talking about because they're happy. And so according to Elena Doctorman in Time Magazine in 2014, one thing that you can try is a social media detox. So you just choose an amount of time that you feel like you want to try, maybe like a week or a few days, and you just decide to not use your social media so that you can relearn how to enjoy your life without constantly feeling like you have to check your phone or social media. And so if you don't like that idea, I have another set of really good ideas from Julia Edelstein from Real Simple Magazine in 2015. And she recommends that you try creating sort of boundaries for yourself, so you choose times in which you're not going to check your social media. So maybe you'll say, during dinner time, I'm not going to check my social media, or something like that. Another good idea that she had was to buy an alarm clock. So the first thing that you look at in the morning isn't your phone and then your social media. Another idea is that you only check it when you have a specific reason, and if you don't have a specific reason, then you just try doing something that you know for sure will make you feel good about your life. And then lastly, she mentions that you can try talking to people outside of social media. So like if you're going to see a friend later in the day, like just talk to them then instead of talking to them on social media. Alright, so now that we talked about solutions, I'm going to close. So by learning about some negative effects of social media today, hopefully you'll change the way in which you use it. And we talked about the problems first, and then I talked about the causes of problems, and then about the solutions. And so I'd just like to challenge you today that the next time you feel the urge to check your social media, that you just don't check it. And if you think that that sounds really difficult, like maybe you should think about why that is. And if you think that sounds like really easy, like, oh, that's no big deal, like you may as well try it, because I think that you'll find that even small steps like